Right, how's everyone doing? Good, I hope. I want to talk about how I found out about the Atari VCS, Well, I've been a lifelong fan of Atari, since 79 to now and in the future, and to the day I'm dead, will be a fan of Atari. Um, Even if Atari go out of existence and they're no more, we'll still support them. But I doubt that'll ever happen because Atari went bankrupt so many times, but they've always come back. And I believe that'll always happen because uh, people that grew up in the early years, the glory years as we call them, know just how massive and big Atari were. Worldwide recognition. They were they were bigger than Microsoft and Sony combined, and Nintendo. Back then, and we remember them days. So there were a lot of older gamers my age who grew up with Atari. So because of that, Atari will never go extinct. They went bankrupt multiple times because of stupid decisions that buried them, but they've always come back because it's a worldwide brand like Coca Cola or Ford. So like, it may go bankrupt again. I hope that doesn't happen again. But if it does, we'll always support them, and I know that Atari will come back. So after the Atari Jaguar failed, 1995, Atari went under again. It went bankrupt again, and remember at the time people are saying that's it for Atari, no more, But we knew somehow they would come back. Someone would buy the name, buy the brand, and bring it back. So after the Atari Jaguar went under, the Atari Corporation, which what it was called, was under Jack Tramiel, and in 1995 went bankrupt, out of business, done, So the Atari Corporation is no more. So it wasn't until 2009 that a Frenchman called Fred Chenet bought the... See, after that, Atari, the name was no more. Just its games were under different ownership. So Hasbro owned all Atari's games. It was called Hasbro Interactive. In 2009, it was bought by Infogrames. So all Atari's games were bought by Infogrames, which were a French game developer, And Fred Chenet was the president of Infogrames. But so they owned all of Atari's games, IPs, the whole lot from Hasbro. For something like a million euros or something like that in 2009. Now Fred Chenet, he decided to change the name of Infogrames to Atari SA and then Atari Interactive. So that's what Atari is known today as, Atari SA Interactive. Brought back by Fred Chenet, and now Atari once again is a company, with offices in New York and other places. So while they are a small group, it exists and they're surviving, and I think they're doing a damn good job, in my opinion. They're doing the name proud and they're keeping all the Atari fans like myself happy. And that's what's going to keep them afloat, because we're the ones that buy their games, buy their hats, buy their t-shirts, and keep them relevant. That's why I like talking about the Atari VCS, because it is the greatest success story ever in gaming, in my opinion, and it makes me the happiest, because the Atari VCS got so much hate, so much criticism, without giving it a chance, and despite all that, it released, and it's doing very, very well. It has great games on it, has great features on it, and it looks amazing. It looks like the Atari 2600, only futuristic version of it. Looks sweet as hell. The joystick is awesome, the controller is awesome, and the thing I love most about the Atari VCS is that we can play any game I want on it. and it's really easy to switch back and forth between games. And you don't have to be a wizard or anything like that. Anyone can just get into it, play it, and enjoy it. And that's what makes Atari great from the old days. Easy to play, hard to master their games. That's Atari in a nutshell. Great gameplay, great fun. Nothing complicated here. And that's what the Atari VCS is. Because the reason why I never got a PC is because it was too expensive, too complicated for me. Plus I didn't have the space for it. So along comes the Atari VCS, which is a nice form factor, looks awesome, and it's a mini PC. And we could play thousands and thousands of retro games, modern games, PC games, you name it. Games for systems that never came out in Ireland, like the Wonder Swan, the Virtual Boy. These systems never came out in Ireland, so we could play all these games. Even systems that failed hard, like the Amstrad GX4000, which, even though Amstrad is based in the UK, even though I live in Ireland, I've never seen an Amstrad in Ireland, it did that badly, And the main reason why the Amstrad GX4000 failed was because the Amstrad PCP, which is a computer like the ZX Spectrum or the Amiga, was already out, and the same games were on that for cheaper. So what was the point of getting the Amstrad GX4000? Yeah, the games were on cartridges now, but you got to pay more to get the games, and you have to pay more to get the system. When the computer was already out, these games were on, and it's cheaper. So it was really pointless in Amstrad bringing this thing out. But they did, and it failed. But like I said, thanks to the Atari VCS, we can play all these games. And I say this, right, the Amstrad GX4000, it does have some good games on it. Like Robocop, I think Robocop on the Amstrad is brilliant. And I don't have to pay a fortune on eBay to play the games. I could try games before I buy them. Because, I miss all school video stores like Activision, where you can rent games and you can try them before you buy them. That's all gone now. So the only way to try out old games is through emulation, and the Atari VCS is capable of that. The only other way is to pay out an hours for a game on eBay that might not be that great, and it might not even get here, it might have all sorts of problems. Now, most of the time, stuff on eBay goes fairly smoothly, but look, I've had more than one hiccup, I should say, with a game and a system that never arrived here in the first place. When I got here, it didn't work. With the Atari VCS, for example, right? They were saying PC mode is one of the best modes on the Atari VCS, because with that you can put Windows 10 onto it. You can make it a high-powered, fully functional PC. So that was awesome to me. So people were telling me all I have to do is get a thumb drive that has Windows 10 on it, put it into USB port, reset the system, and we'll have Windows 10 on it, and we can enjoy Steam and other games that other people are playing. But we got it off eBay, and the man says, yeah, it's 100% functional, just put it into your computer and it'll work. But it didn't have any software on it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it didn't have the activation key. Because I put it in and it's asking for an activation key. I don't have it. So it turned out I had to get this separately. And I had to pay for that. And people said to me that activation key may not work with the Windows 10 that you have. Because they were saying to me the person that sold it to you should have had the key with it, because each key is unique to each thing, or so they were saying to me. So this is all bullshit. So that was one nightmare on eBay. So I couldn't get Windows 10 working on it. You know what I'm saying? And I wasn't going to go through all that again. I'm not going to pay USB that has Windows 10, then pay for a fucking activation key. And then they're saying to me that activation key may not work with the USB that I just got. It's a gamble. So I'm not going to fucking do any of that. So that was the first issue I had. Now, people are saying to me that you can put multiple operating systems, you can choose whatever operating system you want on the Atari VCS, which is awesome. Again, the other option was Linux, which I have zero experience with. At least with Windows, I've heard of Windows, and I'm somewhat familiar with it. But Linux, but all I wanted is to play games. That's all I wanted. That's all I wanted these things for, was to play tons and tons of retro games. Now, so similar situation with Linux, right? It came in a USB, but it came a disc. And on the disc is a bunch of software, but as everyone knows, you can't put a disc into the Atari VCS. So I got screwed again. And that's some sort of moron or something. I don't know. But it wasn't easy at all. People are saying it's dead easy. Look, it's not easy, not for me, So I don't understand what the hell is going on. Because this was a different guy on eBay that sold me the Linux USB. And it came a disc with the software on it. He told me that the software was on the fucking thing. All I had to do was put it in my PC. I told him I have an Atari VCS, will it work on that? Now, he had no idea what the Atari VCS was, so I was telling him that it's a mini PC, which is what it is. He said, yeah, it should work, no problem. You know what I mean? But he should have told me that the software is on a disc. But either way, I can't use it, because the software it's on a disc. So anyway, I had all these. Like I said, all I wanted to do was play a bunch of retro games. Now, we had no idea about online emulation or anything like that. I didn't know what an emulator was, because we didn't have a PC before. So that I wanted to see. The great thing about the Atari VCS is, now if we'd have found this out before all that shit, I wouldn't have bothered buying the USB with Windows 10 or Linux or any of that shit, I would have. People told me there's things called online emulators through Chrome. Now, some games will work great, so others won't, but you still have access to a ton of games. So I said to your man, that's deadly, so how do I do that? Just type in retro games online. So I did that, and a bunch of online emulators show up with thousands and thousands of games. From PS1 all the way back, PS1 and 64, every system back, even ZX Spectrum, Commodore 64, brilliantly, So I have all these games now on top of what's an on-stream arcade and the Atari VCS store. Brilliant, And that's what I love about the Atari VCS, But, yeah, so sorry I'm getting off track here, but, yeah, but anyway, getting back to what I was saying, like, after the Jaguar fail, I just knew Atari will come back with a system. But it took a long time now. But like I said, it came out. I got a lot of hate, a lot of criticism. But I stuck by it from day one. I liked what they were showing off, what I was going to do. But now I'm happy that they made a mini PC. So we could do a whole lot more, because the original plan was just to make a classic system like the NES Classic or the Super Nintendo Classic, only with Atari games on it. That's fine, but I want more, especially for something that's costing €300. I want to be able to do more on it. So Atari decided, let's make it a PC, which is the best option. But like I said, we had just those two issues with the Windows 10 USB drive and the Linux. It didn't work for me, And after all that, I didn't want to buy SSD drive, buy the RAM. I've got no idea how to put that stuff in there without damaging my Atari VCS. And what I have is good enough for me. So PS1 all the way back, plus what's on the Atari VCS store, and Stream Arcade. Now, somewhere down the line, if I have to upgrade my Atari VCS for a certain game that I really, really want, then yeah, we'll upgrade it, I've seen tons of videos on YouTube how to do it, and it looks easy for them. But I'm not great with my hands, I'm afraid I'll wreck the thing, So, yeah, so I just want to make a quick video about that, the Atari VCS is awesome, and it was, so I first found out about the Atari VCS. It was late 2015, nearly Christmas time, and it was on my phone. I just typed in Atari, and just knew about people were saying that Atari are going to make a new system, and we thought it was just rumours. But as time went on, no, it's true. And then the first trailer showed up, where they showed the front of the system, then the Fuji logo in white, and then the Fuji logo disappeared, and said years in the making. I just about lost my shit, and they were called the Atari backs back then. I was just like, this is gonna be brilliant, But then the hatred and the criticism of this thing came out of nowhere, particularly from die-hard Atari fans, who just would not support this thing. I don't know why, you know what I mean? And still, a few of them are still bitter that it came out. Instead of supporting it and saying, look, I was wrong about this, they're still, because they were wrong about it or something. I guess it's just those sort of people out there, they just love to see something get destroyed and ruined. I'm not one of those people, Give something a chance, especially if you're an Atari fan with tons of stuff. Look, I remember one guy, he burned his Atari t-shirt in protest, and I'm like, you fucking idiot, what are you doing that for, setting fire to your shirt. I mean, that's a great example, isn't it? I mean, imagine if you had a kid and the kid walked in, seeing his dad fucking burn a shirt, that's just fucking ridiculous, and, I just could not believe it, and, I don't know, that's just wrong in my opinion. Burning that is a bad move, in my opinion. And terrible. But that's the way people were treating the Atari VCS. Instead of getting behind it and supporting it, they were just trying their best to bring it down. I don't get it, But anyway, despite all that, that's what makes me the happiest. The fact it did come out, and it did deliver on its promises, and those people were made to look like fools in the end. But those people will never admit that they were wrong or right like that. They're justified. But you can't do anything about those sort of people. And they can't do anything about me. They think I'm delusional or I'm some sort of madman, or something, for supporting and they don't understand why people should support this thing. They say, anything the Atari VCS you can do it somewhere else for cheaper. Yeah, but the Atari VCS isn't an Atari console. It's a part of a company that started video games, that started a hobby that they invest themselves in, and they call themselves Atari fans and have rooms and rooms of Atari stuff. But when it comes to the crunch, they won't support it, and they still won't. So, anyway, moving on from all that. So, yeah, the Atari VCS, it's out nearly 2 years now, and while it's not setting the world on fire, it's doing good enough, and it's keeping fans happy, which is the main thing, and it's keeping Atari relevant, and we're making Atari relevant. So I just want to make a quick video about that. The Atari they may go bankrupt again. Hopefully they don't, but if they do, I'm going to stick by them just like I did in the old days, because after 1983, the video game crash, people just stopped supporting Atari. We never did. We kept supporting them. Even though I bought an NES and a Mega Drive, because Atari didn't have a system then, we just knew Atari would bring out a system, and they did. It was called the Atari Lynx, a handheld system. Now, I wasn't expecting that. Before that, they brought out the Atari 7800, which was meant to come out after the 5200 around 1984-83. But because Atari went under and the video game crash happened, Atari wasn't able to release it. It wasn't because, the NES, the Nintendo Entertainment System in 1985, that brought the industry back to life and made games relevant again. So Atari was able to release their system. But it was lackluster at the 7800, even though I like it and all, compared to the NES and the Mega Drive and the Master System even, it just couldn't compete. Then the Lynx came out. Again, it has great technology, but it's very expensive. Each battery's alive, and it's cheap. It's not exactly portable like the Game Boy was. So, but it has good games on it. Then the Jaguar comes out, claiming it's a 64-bit system. It wasn't. Mediocre games, really expensive. and that's it. I mean, Atari went under again. And like I said, it took a long time, around 2016, when Atari announced the Atari VCS. And here we are today, 2022, going on to 2023 in a few months' time. And the Atari VCS is doing awesome. So, anyway, in my opinion, like, whatever you choose to do with your Atari VCS, you're going to have fun and enjoy it. And that's the best thing about the Atari VCS. No matter what you choose to do, just be careful with it, treat it with respect, and patience is the key. And in my opinion, I mean, you don't have to use Windows 10 if you don't want to. You don't have to upgrade it. PS1 games all the way back. That's a shitload of games. Plus what's on Adstream Arcade, Xbox Cloud Gaming, Luna, Stadia, and these online emulators are getting updated all the time with new features and games. So go back to emulators that you tried before and see, like, because you'd be surprised, like, like, for example, on a online emulator I use called RetroGames.online, the 32X section, there's Doom 32X Resurrection, which is a completely new version of Doom for the 32X, with a better frame rate, all the levels. And it's just awesome. I wasn't expecting that, And this site has a ton of Sega Saturn games on it, which is awesome. So so I just want to make a quick video about that. It might take a bit longer than I wanted, but that's how passionate I am about Atari and the Atari VCS. I'm really, really happy that it came out despite all the hate it got. Now, and all the criticism it got, and it's doing well. I mean, it's not, like I said, it's not setting the world on fire, but like the bringing out great games and stuff. And like the latest two games that were added to the Atari VCS are Mega Knight and Apollon 2 are awesome games, and there's more to come out, like, So while we're waiting for new games on the Atari VCS tower, just go on to Chrome, type in retro games online, like I did, or PS1 games online, 32X games online. Once you put the words online after something, you get tons of games. And most of these sites, you can use the Atari VCS controller. Some sites will even let you use the Atari VCS joystick. Just takes a while to configure the controls to your liking and save them. And once you save them, you don't have to do it again. Or you can use the keyboard by default. By default, you'll be using the keyboard. So you need a keyboard and mouse if you're going to play games through Chrome on the Atari VCS. So I just want to make a quick video about that. And my advice is, don't go near YouTube unless you know for sure what you're going to get. You know what I mean? And make sure the person doesn't overcharge or something. Because sometimes he'll start off with, it's only 20-25 euro, but if he sees that you really want it, he'll raise it to 40 euro because he knows you want it. So if that happens, just, no, forget it. If he doubles the price because it's something that you really want, say, forget about it. Because sometimes you have to place a bid. Now, sometimes you can hit, there's certain games you can hit buy it now, but rarer games and people that want to make extra money place a bid and they have a starting price of 25 euro. And I say 25 euro, come on man, I really, really need it. Or really, right, he puts up to 45 and I say, no thanks. So anyway, just look at there, just some tips, unless you're really, really sure. But thanks to the Atari VCS, you can play these games before you decide to invest a lot of money into them. And when you get it, you found out that it wasn't really that worth it, and it might have all sorts of other issues. So they're just my tips, So I hope everyone has a good day and enjoy your Atari VCS. I will for many years to come. And we'll see you all later. Take care and bye bye.